What do you like more? Do you like filming, editing, making a video, or do you like the live production stuff you're doing now?
It's hard to say because like I don't really look at it that way. I'm just kind of like when it comes to projects or shoots or like the watch party, it's just sort of like when I'm in it, like I like to be in it.
Right. Yeah.
So I love being in the middle of watch party and comp COD season right now. But like even when I do the game chat podcast with the team, I'm just like I'm as invested in that as I am with the watch party.
Yeah.
Or when I transition out of that and then we have to try to figure out how we're gonna spin off, a new, even if a trivia video, like I have fun sort of like wherever I'm at.
Okay.
Obviously
That's
the watch
healthy.
party is like has a special place in what I do because it's so much fun and I get to do a lot of everything. So
Right.
Audio, video, every component of sort of everything I've done in my career happens there. Where
Right, yeah.
Other things, it might just be, oh, you're editing this video or you're owning this thing from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Or like, we just need you to shoot the video or help with the audio. That is just sort of the culmination of everything.
Yeah.
And so like when we're in the middle of the season, sort of on the back end now, I'm just like, I love it.
So what days are your weekends?
At this point, it's like Monday.
Monday
is my weekend. Because then like Tuesday is when I start getting messages about, upcoming activations with partners and,
Right,
and
yeah.
asset requests and things. Wednesday, I'm usually doing like the game chat podcast with the COD team. So I'm prepping that on Tuesdays. Thursdays is like watch party prep day. So I'm usually home finishing stuff for that, lining up the giveaways and making sure all the graphics are done. Because like 90% of the graphics and overlays and everything, like
You're doing them?
I may not have built the template for them. Shout out to like Aaron and Drew and some of the other designers we've had in the past, Gerbs, who like built out a lot of the templates that we still use. But more often than not, it's like they give me a really solid starting point, and then I go in and have to do it every week. So like
Photoshop it.
Yep, our schedule brackets, like our players to watch, the like picks stuff that we do, all the OBS stuff, like all of that usually happens on like Thursday, and then we run the show Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Mondays is my day to like unplug, relax, and all that before getting back into it.
I probably at some point in my life should learn how to Photoshop. I still don't know how to. I've never even opened it.
I know enough to do what I need to do, and a what the stuff that I do is probably not the best way to do it. But it works.
Corey Dunn would open his Photoshop and be like, "So this is what I've been working on," and it was like a page of 15 pages. It was like, "This is what I've been working on," and he would like zoom in. His computer was all laggy because it was so much memory was being used. And I was like, "Holy shit! I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do any of this, man."
I've got a Photoshop file like that. It's our players to watch. That one is pretty beefy.
When do you realize, like, when you first come on, when do you realize that, like, because you're pretty trolly behind the scene, like behind your little station.
Yeah.
You're always, throwing memes up and stuff. But I feel like when Seth announced the watch party, it was kind of clean cut. It was kind of like he announced it with the breakdown, and like they were wearing suits during the breakdown, but they were watching. It was very like proper. But nowadays it's like kind of chilled out. And I think you had a big part to play in that. Was that your call? Was that Seth's call? Or
no? I think it kind of just happened, like, because like you said at the beginning, I think they were trying to figure out what they wanted it to be and what they wanted the tone to be. And so I think for like the first couple months, however long it was after it started, all it was like just trying to be a companion product to like optics matches and the CDL broadcasts and all that stuff, and a way for Seth to still watch COD. And I still feel like looking back, because I'll go back every now and then just to be like, oh my God, look at what the set looked like back then. To reminisce, and like I can kind of tell, I don't think he was like fully out of the camp of like I'm done competing yet.
Really?
And so the way he was like looking and engaging with the game is very different than it is now.
Okay.
Because there's a podcast, the Pardon My Take podcast with Barstool, where like so many of the athletes they have on that podcast say what I imagine Seth went through, which is that like once they were done, they couldn't watch for a year, 2 years, 3 years.
It's insane. Seth fucking retired on a Tuesday and was watch party on that Friday. Like it's crazy. I don't think he ever even like grieved it.
Right. And so like I feel like that's sort of what you can see in those early episodes, is him trying to figure out, how do I want to do this, and what is this going to be, and how does this play out long term? Like I think there were just so many question marks, as you can imagine, for somebody in his position competing for that long, and then one day you're just not.
Right.
But it started out just trying to get a show together on a consistent basis that accomplished a very basic set of things. Like we're engaging engaging our audience, bringing in, the CDL audience, and trying to offer the best product we can that enhances Seth and his new role as a content creator, and provides something that we felt like Optic wanted and needed at the time around that. But as it kind of went on, I feel like there was a point probably after Zen retired, because it wasn't for a whole nother event. It's like Seth retired before the first, or after the first major. Zen retires at major 2.
Right.
And so then I think it was after we brought him into the fold that Seth kind of was like, okay, I don't have to, it's not just me on the watch party anymore. I don't have to like bear the full weight of it necessarily. And this is me just kind of reading into everything in hindsight. But I think you could see having Zen a part of that dynamic and someone to bounce off of really kind of lightened it and relaxed the show to a certain place. And then when Zen started ribbing Seth, I think is when sort of the more fun sort of trolley aspects started to come in. Because Zen just right off the bat was just like, I'm just going to go for it and be myself and who he and Seth were behind the scenes. Right. And so
his dynamic with Bose is hilarious too. Like that, it's a really good mold. The three of them.
They've got such a good rapport, like on camera, and banter with one another. But I think that's what really opened it up, because it started off as just like Zen makes this joke, then like I know the reference he's making, so I'm just gonna like pull that thing up, to sort of like tag on to the joke. Is not at all a way to like I'm gonna insert myself into this thing. Right. I have genuinely like no desire to do that. Like even being on this podcast is like I'm in front of the camera. It feels so weird. But it just started off as a way of like, oh, they're going at this like I'm just gonna play that up, or like add something to it. Like it's one thing if Zen just says, hey, remember that time when you da 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 da. It's another thing if he says that and then within a few seconds the clip plays or the picture comes up or whatever. And so it kind of started that way. I think the first one that I remember was like they were having a debate about who was taller. And so then like I just put like a text overlay in OBS that said Zen was 6'1" and Seth was like 5'8" or something. And that gave them banter for like another 5 minutes of like
even though you just threw it up,
take that off the screen, and Zen being like, no, leave it up there. Like and so that's kind of like the genesis of how that happened. And
you just antagonize both of them.
So I just kind of like would they would antagonize, like Zen would antagonize Seth, like I'm gonna add some fuel to that fire. And then Seth would do it back to Zen. And was like, oh well.
So you're really just evil.
Zen has a treasure trove of photos on the internet of his awkward stage, and so then that just became all the ammunition I would ever need. And so that's kind of how the like trolley dynamic I guess started. Because then it went from being sort of like I might be okay to do this to Seth like and Zen both being like, okay, now pull that up, pull that up.
Now it's natural.
And then it sort of became, I guess, the Joe Rogan dynamic of like Jamie do this,
pull
Jamie
that
do
up.
This. So that's kind of how that whole thing got started. Just was sort of like a natural progression, I think, of them relaxing into like who they were when like they weren't sitting on the couch, and sort of them both getting out of that headspace of like I'm retired, I'm trying to figure out what this show is and what it needs to be, and like then it just became a show and them being friends on a couch, and I think everything that came with that was just sort of a natural outgrowth of their existing dynamic. It was just people were seeing it for the first time on the watch party.